Hey Steelers Nation! Welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving into the ongoing trade rumors and what they mean for our wide receiver situation. Our team is always looking to improve, especially with the trade deadline around the corner. If you're as pumped as I am to see the Steelers go all out this season, make sure to hit that like button, and subscribe if you haven't already. Now, let's get into it. The Pittsburgh Steelers have made it clear that they're on the hunt for wide receiver talent to back up our guy George Pickens. GM Omar Khan has been relentless in seeking a solid WR2, but so far, things haven't worked out. Khan reportedly pursued Brandon Ayuk during the offseason and even tried to bring Davante Adams on board before he was traded to the New York Jets. Now, with the trade deadline less than 2 weeks away, the pressure is on for Khan to bring in some help. One of the most recent names on the radar is Mike Williams. The Steelers were interested in Williams during the 2024 offseason, but he ultimately signed with the Jets. Unfortunately, the Jets seem hesitant to trade him away, viewing him as a valuable asset to their own offense. NFL insiders Ian Rappaport and Tom Pelissero recently discussed Williams' situation, indicating that he could still be a key piece for New York, especially after a strong performance last week. Here's the challenge: Williams has shown flashes of his old self with the Jets, and New York might be unwilling to part with him unless they get substantial value in return. Given that they've already paid most of his $10 million salary, they're not going to trade him for cheap. For the Steelers, this is a significant barrier, as they're likely only willing to offer a late-round pick. With Mike Williams potentially off the table, the Steelers may have to shift their focus to other targets. Let's break down a few options. Darius Slayton, New York Giants. Slayton is a reliable WR who's been underutilized in New York. His ability to stretch the field could complement Pickens well. Christian Kirk, Jacksonville Jaguars. Kirk is one of the most exciting options available, but he comes with a high price tag. His speed and route-running ability could make him a strong WR2. KJ Osborne, Minnesota Vikings. Osborne is a solid player who could offer consistent production, giving Wilson a dependable target behind Pickens. Kendrick Bourne, New England Patriots. Known for his versatility, Bourne might be one of the best value options for the Steelers. He could bring a unique skill set to Pittsburgh's receiving core. As if the WR dilemma wasn't enough, the Steelers also have some uncertainty at quarterback. Justin Fields has been listed as questionable for the Monday night game against the Giants due to a quad injury. After Fields started the first 6 games, Russell Wilson took over in Week 7, leading Pittsburgh to an impressive 37-15 win over the Jets with 264 passing yards and 2 touchdowns. If Fields remains sidelined, Wilson will be the likely starter, with Kyle Allen backing him up. Fields has put up respectable numbers this season, completing 66.3% of his passes for 1,106 yards, 5 touchdowns, and just 1 interception. He's also added 231 rushing yards and 5 more touchdowns on the ground. His absence could be a big blow, especially with the trade deadline so close, leaving the Steelers with a tough decision on whether to add more depth to the QB position. The Steelers' offense has faced a barrage of injuries this season, particularly on the offensive line. Troy Fautanu and James Daniels are both out for the year, which has left the right side of the line significantly weakened. Zach Frazier is also working through an ankle injury, and while he may be back soon, the line has struggled to protect the quarterback and open up the run game. Despite ranking second in the NFL in rushing attempts, averaging over 33 runs per game, the Steelers are only gaining 4 yards per carry, putting them in the bottom half of the league. Najee Harris has been a workhorse, but he can only do so much behind an injury-riddled line. With defenses stacking the box, the Steelers' passing game has to step up. The Steelers find themselves at a critical juncture. The trade deadline is fast approaching, and if Omar Khan wants to make a move, it has to be soon. The team has shown glimpses of potential this season, especially with a defense that's among the best we've seen in years. But without consistent offensive firepower, competing with the AFC's elite teams could be a tall order. The decision to trade or hold steady at WR2 could make or break Pittsburgh's season. Wilson's veteran presence might help bring out the best in a guy like Van Jefferson or Calvin Austin III, but adding a more proven receiver could be what takes this team to the next level. With a defense like this, a complete offense would turn the Steelers into serious Super Bowl contenders. As we approach the trade deadline, the Steelers' search for a reliable wide receiver continues. After missing out on Brandon Ayuk, who signed a new deal with the 49ers, and watching Davante Adams get traded to the Jets, GM Omar Khan is feeling the pressure. Time is running out, and the Steelers need an offensive boost, especially in the wide receiver department. But here's where things get interesting. ESPN's Adam Schefter recently reported that a new name is catching the attention of teams looking for WR help, and it's Christian Kirk from the Jacksonville Jaguars. With Jacksonville's offense struggling to find a rhythm, Kirk could be a prime trade candidate. Although he hasn't had his best season, Kirk's stats are still respectable, with 25 receptions for 320 yards and a touchdown. He brings speed and agility to the field, making him an intriguing option for Pittsburgh's offense. Kirk has the potential to bring more versatility to the Steelers' passing attack, but there's a catch: his contract. Kirk is set to make a base salary of $15.5 million in 2025 before he hits free agency in 2026. That's a big number, and while the Steelers could make it work if Kirk is their primary target, other WRs might be more budget-friendly options. The question becomes, is Kirk worth the investment? On one hand, he offers a legitimate threat that could pull coverage away from George Pickens and take our passing game to the next level. On the other, the cost might be a big commitment, especially considering that he wouldn't be a long-term guarantee. Pittsburgh has a prime opportunity here. After their Monday Night Football showdown with the New York Giants, they get a well-timed bye week. This break provides a chance to assess their options and finalize a potential trade before the deadline on November 5th. So, win or lose against the Giants, we can expect Pittsburgh to be active on the trade front, aiming to find that missing piece in their WR core. With Russell Wilson now at the helm, the offense looked different in Week 7. George Pickens had a breakout game, showing what he can do when he has a quarterback capable of delivering deep, accurate passes. But Wilson needs more support. Adding a dynamic receiver like Kirk could be the key to creating a balanced, potent offense that hasn't been seen in Pittsburgh for years. Let's talk about our defense for a second. We all know that the Steelers' defense is one of the best in the league, with game-changing talent on every level. However, relying on the defense alone can only get us so far, as we've seen in close games this season. While the defense has been able to hold down some of the top offenses in the league, it's crucial for the offense to step up and put points on the board to keep pace. Early in the season, the Steelers suffered back-to-back losses after defensive lapses, highlighting the need for offensive consistency. We know our defense won't be perfect every game, no defense is. But if the Steelers' offense can consistently score around 24 points each week, this team becomes an incredibly tough out for anyone. And that's where adding a piece like Kirk, or another game-changing receiver, comes into play. If Kirk's contract or fit doesn't line up with Pittsburgh's plans, the Steelers could pursue other mid-tier WRs that still offer solid potential without the hefty price tag. Let's take a look at some alternatives. Darius Slayton, New York Giants. Slayton has the speed to stretch the field and could work well as a WR2 behind Pickens. He's underused in New York, making him a potential value pick. KJ Osborne, Minnesota Vikings. Osborne brings consistent hands and a reliable route tree, providing Wilson with a solid secondary target without breaking the bank. Kendrick Bourne, New England Patriots. Known for his versatility, Bourne is a lower-cost option who could fit seamlessly into Pittsburgh's system. He's had big moments with the Patriots and could be a solid contributor here. Each of these players could give the Steelers a respectable WR2 option, allowing Pickens more freedom to operate and giving Wilson additional weapons to work with. The Steelers have a challenging second half of the season coming up. After their bye week, they face teams with high-powered offenses, including the surprising Washington Commanders led by rookie QB Jaden Daniels in Week 10. Facing offensive threats like these will demand Pittsburgh's best performance on both sides of the ball. Acquiring a WR who can make a real impact could be crucial to staying competitive in these matchups and making a push for the playoffs. The AFC is as competitive as ever, and for the Steelers to secure a spot, the offense will need to match the intensity of our defense. This is the best defense we've had in years, and adding an offensive weapon could be the final piece that makes this team a legitimate Super Bowl contender. Alright, Steelers fans, I want to hear from you. Who do you think the Steelers should target before the trade deadline? Are you confident that Van Jefferson or someone else on our roster can step up as a solid WR2, or do we need to bring in someone from the outside? And what about Fields' injury? Do you think Wilson should keep the starting job if he leads us to another win? Let's keep the conversation going in the comments. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe for all the latest updates, and keep it here for everything Steelers. Thanks for watching, and as always, here we go, Steelers.